talk about something that's a little bit elusive to some people. It kind of makes people's eyebrows go, what? You want me to answer that question? It's unanswerable to many. And the question is, who am I? Some of you might know that. Some of you might be in touch with that. However we do the slides. Yeah, first of all, I am family. I have a wonderful family. I'm going to tell you a story about how I met my husband, Brent, who is doing our lights up there. Thank you, Brent. In 1969, or actually 1968, I was in school, and I realized, uh-oh, I forgot to study. So I went and got a job. And I ended up flying for TWA, and I moved from beautiful California to very cold Kansas City, Missouri. But that was good. One day, my roommate and I went on a date to a very well-known local neighborhood bar. This place had long tables, peanuts on the floor, beer, banjo band, very friendly neighborhood bar. I walked in, and this is a very noisy place, and the only thing I saw was one person, Brent. And I said to myself, there's the man I'm going to marry. And within 2.5 months, we were married. I'm fast. But how did I do that? How did I know that? What I think happens, and this is my belief, I think that when we go back to the other side, and I believe that we go back and forth many times, this is just one little blip in time here, we get a movie, and we get to watch the movie, and every once in a while we'll say, oh, I think I'll remember that, or that, or that. And I think when I saw Brent, it was a psychic bleed through. That's what I call it. I don't know what it is, and that's my belief system, but it's worked. We were never going to have kids, and those of you who have been around for a little while, these two over here are laughing. You know, we'd been married 18 years, and all of a sudden I got pregnant. I didn't know about that. And then our son John was born, and then 5 years later, when I was 45, our daughter Anna was born. And they are incredibly wonderful people. We go hiking a lot together. That's up in Squaw Valley. Next slide, please. I am very, very spiritual. I'm not religious. I'm very spiritual. I believe that the universe provides for us if we ask. I had a wonderful visitation when I was about 12 years old, and that's the only thing I know how to call it is a visitation. I was on the playground of my school, and I was by myself, which is unusual because I was very gregarious, as I am just a tiny bit now. And this voice came to me, and it said, everything you are being taught is not for you. And I said, okay then. I had no idea what it meant, but it meant something and it sounded good. So I ran off and went about my life, and about 30 years later, I kind of figured out what it was. But what it did is it taught me that people don't necessarily say what they really feel. They say what they're being told to say. And I recognized that when I followed the little nuns along and I heard them talking. I thought, they don't believe that. They're just saying that because XYZ person told them to. That helped me. Next slide, please. I'm a seeker. I love to understand things. I had a defining moment when my daughter was about 2 or 4 years old, and I said, I'm done with my current job as a real estate broker. I am going to do something spiritual. I had no idea what that was. I had no clue. I didn't even know where to go for it. But I continued on and found where I am now. I'm very, very intuitive. Next slide, please. I use my intuition for absolutely everything. I'll give you an example. I had to make a decision several years ago about who to hire for a job. And I had 2 incredibly wonderful candidates. And I used my left brain. Nothing was coming. So I said, okay, I'll try my right brain, because that's where I get all my information anyway. It comes in on my left side. That's my way. Everybody's different. Some of you get nothing. So what I did is I went down. Really? That means you don't get anything. You can learn. It's just a skill. I went and I laid down on the ground outside under a tree, rubbed my hands together, said some prayers, and said, okay, one hand I have person A, one hand I have person B. Whichever hand kind of like heats up or rises or information comes to me, whatever way it is, that's the person. And indeed, that's the way I did it. This is the way I do business. I would not suggest that for those of you who laugh at intuition, because it won't work for you. But it works for me. And I hired that person, thank you, Deb, and she is fabulous. I'm very invested in choices. Next, please. I am extremely invested in choices. And the reason I'm so invested in choices is because there is no one right way to heal, to be well, to do anything. There's a myriad. And we're being told there's one way, but there's not. I'll give you a quick example. I broke my arm on a Moms in the Mountains hike. Wendy's here somewhere. It made her very nervous, didn't it, Wendy? But what happened is when I went to the doctor and I got diagnosed as a broken arm, and yes, they were going to cast it, and the doctor said, you know, with a break like this, you'll have limited use of your elbow. And I said, what? That's not my belief system. Stop right there. So I came home, I put my arm in a sling, and I sat down and I meditated on this one tape for 2 weeks. Now, this is a tape that very few people like. Some people can't even stand it because it sounds screamy, but it's mine. It works for me. And my elbow's fine. Thank you very much. I have no arthritis. I have no pain. I have no, oh my gosh, it's winter. None of that. Because that was his idea, not mine. I encourage you to listen to your body, not an alternative doctor or a Western medicine doctor's voice. Your body. An important point. Thank you. Another slide. I am very much in the flow. It's a beautiful picture by my husband of where, the Yuba River. I use the river analogy a lot. Many times I find myself going upstream and nothing's working. Oh my God, it's so hard. And then I take a breath and I say, wait a minute. I don't need to go upstream. I know better than that. I can turn it around and can say, hey, whatever. It's like here, we didn't have Ted Washington when we wanted to. We could have all gotten upset, but no. We went down river. We did not get in an eddy. We did not get sucked under a rock. We stayed in the river. Next one. I'm also impatient. What is that? Oh, impulsive, impatient, and very bossy. I think I know best. And you know what? My kids and my husband and some of my dear friends say, no, you don't. But that's the way I am. That's me. Next slide. I am a Gemini multitasker. Does anybody know this guy? You can buy these at J.J. Jackson's, a little squeaky Buddha. Now, he lives in my car for many reasons. It's because I am being told that I do not need to put lipstick on, drink my coffee, talk on my phone, and drive the car all at the same time. That's my reminder to slow down, take it easy. Because otherwise, what happens? You fall down, you get in an accident, you're not paying attention. So you need to slow down. Next one, please. I am eternally optimistic. Really, really, really eternally optimistic. Okay, so when I was a young kid, teenager, having the angst. The boyfriend doesn't like me. Everything's falling apart. My mom would say, tomorrow will be beautiful. Tomorrow will be beautiful. You can take it and use it because it really is true. Tomorrow will be beautiful if that's your belief system. I'm talking about what my belief system is. And I believe all things are good. I say every day, it's all good. It's all good, it's all good, it's all good. Those people that made life as good, socks and t-shirts and hats, fabulous. Because life is good no matter how bad it looks. You can have no money in your bank account. You can have wrecked your car. Your friend just left you. Your husband doesn't like you that moment. But you know what? You don't know what the next moment's going to bring. You've got to be, that's why they say in the moment. That's what in the moment is about. You've got to think that all is good. Otherwise, you're going to be in trouble. Okay. Hold that slide for just a second. I am always looking for new ways to look into who I am, to look beyond the bigger picture, or to look deeply into the big picture and see who I am. What do I need to deal with in this lifetime? Because that's the way my thinking is. So impatient, bossy, those things, that's kind of where I am, and I need to kind of pay back attention to that. I read a lot of books, listen to CDs. I don't read the news. I don't watch the news. I usually do more enlightening things, whatever that means. I do introspection. I go on retreats by myself and sit and write and think, God, what's wrong with me this year? Oh yeah, this is all good. That's right. That's all good. So what I'd like you all to do right now is do a shoulder drop. You know what that is? Close your eyes for just a tiny minute. Breathe really, really deeply. In through your nose and out through your mouth. And you'll feel your shoulders drop. Next slide, please. When you feel your shoulders drop, you might want to investigate this question. Who are you? This is important. Who are you? Who are you? Thank you.